This is actually the dance as it was collected from Bill Gibbons, the barge dancer in Lancashire. And it would have been done, if you imagine, a stone-flagged kitchen with everybody sitting around having a nice party, everybody in their clogs, nice noise. And this dance could have gone on for half an hour at a time, but don't worry, we're going to try and stick to our 4-minute limit. So this is, and a lot of people in Lancashire were Irish origin. It's called the Irish jig. It's obviously got a lot of Irish influence there. Okay, so the Irish jig from Burscough.
The group are going to do the old man giving you toe steps, and I've asked them to say a few words.
Where's my group? Come on the floor, please. That's better. This was one of the first routines I learned from the Reading Cloggies. Gentleman Lesley, the founder of the Cloggies, introduced it, who learnt it before the Reading Cloggies existed from Strathspey. So I won't go back to when that was. I'm sure nobody's actually ever mentioned it. So I've confused them all because I've given them two sets of notes. So a comprehensive set and an abbreviated set. So we'll see how it goes. Thank you.
Peter Brown. Northumberland, Durham, Clog, Hornpipe. Come on, Peter. the old model of forest dancing for, well, as long as I've been alive.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Bacca jig, traditional to Headington, which is now part of Oxford. The object of the dance is not to break the pipes. In the old days, if you broke the pipe, you bought a round of drinks. But if you danced the dance and didn't break the pipe, everybody in the room would buy you a drink. So we've decided that the rules still apply. And somebody said tea. I said, well. So if you happen to see a pipe go awry, I've given them permission, providing it isn't broken, to put it straight. Because you dance over a cross pipe, and that is it. So, we will begin if you're sitting quietly. for it, we'll do yet another figure.
Years ago, it was a competitive dance, and they put flour or sand underneath the pipes. And the idea was to see if we get marked closest into the vertex without actually touching them. Which is why winkle pickers were a great idea for a while. And so on. Yeah, I've seen it danced over cross swords. In fact, the dance I do came from somebody on the Isle of Wight who did it over swords on the basis that these long church wall pipes are no longer made. If you are interested, if you go to the Amberley Chocolate Museum, you'll see a pipe maker giving demonstrations on a daily basis who's beginning to crack the problem of how to make these long pipes. Mind you, they cost you 10 quid a pair, so they're not the sort of thing you can tread on. The next group, Theresa, Hindle, doing with a class of Dutch dance. I can't see it. Here they come. Good. And the musician is Simon Shaw. Right? Yes. Can I say something? Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. 2 foot 6, mate. The Dutch dance is from Accrington. It was given to the Aussie cloggers by the late Veronica Ryan, who danced these steps in clogs that look like Dutch clogs. These are the actual clogs that Veronica used to dance in. Very old, falling apart at the moment, and we're hoping to get them restored. No, I'm lost. Veronica performed at the old Hippodrome in Accrington, as well as many other theatres around Lancashire. And we happen to have Veronica's granddaughter dancing with the Aussie cloggers, and there she is over there in the pink t-shirt, Claire Ryan.
Give a nice thank you. Well, the next show is Lesley Gowers' class and Mrs. Gayton's Hornpipe. Here we assemble. Ben Thackeray, the musician, but you're all wondering what he is. Please.
I have a confession to make. See, I think that clog dancing is inordinately good fun. It's one of the best things that I do in life. It gets the adrenaline going and it improves your chuckle muscles, no end. And when you're laughing, you feel fit and healthy, even though it's the end of a long day and everybody's very tired. But it is fun, otherwise we wouldn't do it. So what we've got here is a lovely routine which a phenomenal number of people have done a brilliant job having a go at. And they are going to exercise their chuckle muscles, otherwise you frown at them, and you get a chance to laugh later. And just before we go any further, we'd like to thank Frank, who's helped us no end today. So this is the applause for the musicians before we do it. These are Elsie Brooks' 7 Lancashire steps, and while the massed hordes are accruing themselves down by the stage, I'm going to move that way.
base steps. When we had the form about how you assessed your workshop, our assessment was to do with whether Nina could step dance and play by the end of the day. So if you watch the musician, she might be flashing her feet around as well.
The next group, the penultimate group, Chris and Alice Metherell's group. Come on, up you get. You can't bask in everybody else's glory now.
Steps which are collected from Ivy Sands. Clog dancer in Newby in Northumberland, just north of Newcastle. Our class have had a bit of a problem during the day because there have been two of us teaching. And when you get two clog dancers together, they can never agree on how the steps go. So this has been an extra peril for them. These are Ivy's exhibition steps. We've done 10 steps during the day, and we've chosen to show you 5 of them. Although most of the units of the steps are made up out of in this routine. Here we go.
piano, yeah. Do we have a few words from John?
First thing, we would like to thank Roy Dominic for stepping in for compare for today. Thank you, Roy. Now I'd like to thank all the Reading Cloggies. Could they please be upstanding in front so you can see all the people who are responsible, who to blame. Come on your feet. But for these people, today doesn't happen. Also for a lot of other people. But some of the key people, so you know who to blame visually, whose book looked after the tutors and displays, is Jennifer Molest. Step forward. Thank you. Ben Thackeray, who's looked after all sorts of things, musicians, bar, MC for tonight, and the band, amplification. He's the one who's all here. Anne Garrison's done a lot of work on publicity and secretarial tasks. Michelle Vale looks after the money for us and the catering. Lesley Gowers, who you all know for bookings and also assisted with the tutors. Mike Terry has helped with the school, sponsorship and liaison. Thank you, Mike. And Jill Ford, Russell and Judith Meredith have helped with a number of those tasks. So thank you all, Reading Cloggies. And I guess that's me finished. Thank you very much. Over to you all.
Well, the last items are a Bernstein's class, and I've been dropping into that all day, and I haven't actually seen him stop yet. He's still on his box and just danced away, talking and doing everything about it. It's quite incredible. I suppose it's being a clogger makes you fit or something or other. Have we got your mod together? Right, come on, you've got to say a few words. Everybody else has said a few words. And there's your class. Yes.
Not often speechless, right? Okay, I thought everybody was done. Well, let me have a huddle with my class. See, I taught a bunch of dancing in my class. I didn't teach a dance. And there's a big distinction between a dance and dancing. So I want to ask my class something. Okay, we're set. So, Trevor, you got your position there? Okay, what we're going to do, see, what I just asked my class is they want me to come up and lead them in a bunch of just showing the steps we did or whether they want to improvise. And I'll tell you right now, they all just chickened out. They want me to lead them through their steps, and that's okay. And maybe at the end I'll stick them with a bunch of improvising. Who's going to get these at the end? Where'd you go there? Before I forget another time, just let me tell you where they go. Thanks. Okay, let's spread out some. Let's have these in the back row stays where you are, the front people leave. Come on. Okay, we're just going to have Trevor play a fiddle tune, and we're going to react to it. And I'll call out some steps. And what I'll do here is I'll show you the sort of progression that we did in class, which is a building upon some foundation movements. And we'll start with some foundations, and we'll keep adding. And you'll see how really, as a style of dance, as a style of movement, it really is a system. And everything just builds upon what happened before. And hopefully you'll see this whole progression. Okay, take it easy on us, Trevor. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's just show everybody that beat. 5, 6, 2 sound walking steps. 2 sound. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Cross it in front. Straighten it out. 5, 6, basics. No extra sound. Now the Alamo. The basic. And 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. We're going to go to 2 basics and 2 Indians. Wait for the count. 5, 6. Here we go. So the basics, step and Indian, step and Indian. Basic and a basic and step. Indian, step, Indian, basic. Same thing, but slap that Indian. Slap it to the outside. All right. 3 sound walking steps. Cross it in front. As a basic. Here we go. Using the 3 sound walking step, Alamos, and the 1, and the 2, and the 3, and the 4. Indians, continuous Indians. Now, full length slap steps, here we go. Step, slap, 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 step, slap, slap, slap. Walking step. 4 sound. Cross it in front. Two sound walking step, cross it in front. Straighten it out. 2 beats each side. Step, chug, step, chug. 4 beats each side. Now cross and uncross. Cross and uncross with the chug. Step, cross, uncross, cross. Add just the 3rd sound. And the 1, and the 2, and the 3, and the 4. And the 1, and the 2, and the 3, and the 4. You know what's coming? All 4 sounds. All 4 sounds, turn it into circles. Indian. You're on your own, everybody. How about some freestyle? Give them a hand as we go into their freestyle.